Welcome back to the Women's Lounge, the space where we break down politics, power, and everything that matters to women. I'm your host, Emiliana Guereca, and today, Friday, August 1st, wow, buckle up, because we've got a lot to cover. VP Harris is not running for California governor. She's hitting the road for a book tour. I'm not happy about that, but that's where we're at. Congress is packing their bags for recess while families fight to survive. Biden staffers' announcement that they were cashing in big. We're talking millions, while women were still fighting for equal pay. So we're talking about tariffs, chaos, immigration, and where are we on the Epstein files? How much does the president know? Our Women's Rights Watch, today we're talking about immigrant women, detention centers, and civil rights violations that you should know about. Let's get into it. So, Ms. Kamala Harris said she is not running for California governor. Instead, Vice President is hitting the road for a book tour. For her run. 107 days is what she had to run. So that is what she is doing. So I know what you're thinking. Kamala, we need you here. We have a vacuum. And so we need you in California. But if we think about it, this might be strategic. This might be a strategic move, connecting with voters, shaping the narrative, and reminding the country on who she is ahead of 2028. I have a feeling she will run for president, but we'll see what happens. Because for now, it stings that she will not be running for governor. The state of California has never had a female governor, so it stings. Don't forget, we've lost 2 female senators as well. So in California, the so-called progressive state, we're sliding backward. Here we go. So next up, Congress. Congress is in recess starting next Monday. That means that lawmakers are heading home for a month while everyone else deals with the tariffs, deals with the unemployment, immigration chaos, and the women's rights battles. What that really means in the translation is that we expect no action on legislation, but probably plenty of fundraiser dinners, campaign stops, photo ops, and don't forget all the text messages that ask for money. It's August, it's hot in more ways than one. So speaking of hot air, tariffs are back on the table, creating chaos in the markets, driving up costs for families, inflation pressure, job uncertainty. It's going to hit working families the hardest, women and immigrants the hardest. So that brings me into my next segment of Follow the Money. Let's talk about power, money, and who benefits. Driving the news today was the Biden aide, Mike Donilon, who reportedly walked away from the White House of scoring a $4 million salary deal and the potential to make a $4 million bonus when and if President Biden won his reelection campaign. That comes to us from the book called The Original Sin. And what really sticks out to me is that by comparison, the campaign chair, Jen O'Malley, who came in around the same time, made a $300,000. I mean, her $300,000. Let that sink in. One man gets a deal worth up to $8 million, while most of the senior women on that campaign made less than 5% of that. That's the gender pay gap in real time and at the highest level of politics. So although we're told that women are breaking the glass ceiling, what we're looking at is a glass cliff. What we're looking at is that men will walk away with the money while women are left negotiating on the sidelines. And this is exactly why we need more women in power. But besides all that, let's ask the hard questions. Where are the Epstein files? How much does the president know? We've seen CEOs, politicians, billionaires quietly disappear from accountability, but these files are key. They're key to one of the biggest sex trafficking scandal in modern history, and yet the silence is deafening. Women and survivors deserve answers, and we can't back down from what is needed. So keep pushing, keep asking for the Epstein files because we will find out what the president knows. Moving on to our Women's Rights Watch. Immigrant women are in crisis. This week for Women's Rights Watch, it's about immigrant women because when we talk about women's rights, we can't ignore the reality and what's happening on the ground for those women without legal status. What we're asking is, where are they being held? What is happening to them? And many immigrant women are sitting in detention centers and facilities across the country, away from lawyers, advocates, and their families. This is a continuation of the family separation that happened in 2018. And the heartbreaking truth is that women, especially those without legal status, face an increased risk of violence, including sexual assault, exploitation, trafficking possibly, and especially in detention without due process. So currently, the current enforcement climate has scared immigrant women and children away from seeking protections like those under the Violence Against Women Act. So we want to make sure that immigrant women's rights are not being violated, that there is justice for women. So we must continue to highlight this crisis as a civil rights crisis, as a women's crisis. So keep posted. Check out ACLU, check out Chirla, check out Carecen, to make sure that we are informed on what is happening to women on the ground. And let's not forget that it is not just men they are picking up. So in the meantime, there are reports of racial profiling, civil rights violations continue to rise. Immigrant women, mother, daughters, workers are paying the price. This is not just an immigration issue. This is a women's rights issue. And it's happening on our watch. So we must continue to fight back. We must continue to stay loud. Closing thoughts. Here's the bottom line. While the headlines scream book tours and recess, our lives hang in the balance because the tariffs aren't just numbers, they're groceries, gas prices that people are taking the brunt for. And as we talk about women's rights and human rights, we can't afford to sit back and wait for Congress to return from vacation. So if you have their number, or check us out at womensmarchfoundation.org, you can still do something. What do? We continue to show up at rallies. We continue to show up on social media and ask our elected officials to continue doing their work. None of us are on vacation. We are all working through the summer, and so should they. They should be back in their districts, and you should be showing up at their offices. So thank you. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of the Women's Lounge. Follow us, subscribe, share this episode with someone you love that needs to know what's happening. And until next time, stay loud, stay informed, and stay active. I'm Emiliana Guereca at the Women's Lounge. Thank you.